This is my studio. This is my studio on ADHD. It needs a little work. This is what happens when I'm having a rough week or month. Got a lot of stuff going on. These are my actual workspaces here. And I'm obviously just a little crowded. So I need to get to work today. And I know I'm not alone when I say this is my space on ADHD. This is what happens when you just keep throwing stuff in bedroom, studio, kitchen, whatever. This is the place. So we're gonna do some cleanup and hopefully come up with some tips and tricks to keep it from happening and what to do when it gets to this point. Okay, this is what I'm going to do first, because this is what a lot of ADHDers do, and I used to do it constantly. What I do is clear everything out here and put it out there, and then bring it in a little bit at a time. I'm going to close these curtains so you can see. The problem with that being, have you ever taken everything and put it on your bed, and then you don't have a place to sleep that night because you didn't finish?
We're gonna sleep.
I've done that before. It's got to have some light in here. So we're gonna do this and we're gonna speed it up because right now I'm just carrying stuff out and setting it on my dining room table. Okay? And then we'll go from there and I'll talk to you about what I typically do before it gets into this condition. And it's been much worse than this. Right, here I go, taking all the clutter from all my flat surfaces, table, desktops, the floor, the recliner, and I place it all on my dining room, on my dining room table, and from there I sort it into trash, donate, storage, or return to my studio. One of my many crafts. My incomplete projects. Incomplete. Tip number 1, allow yourself a junk drawer, box, or bin. I know you already have one. The word allow is the important part. We already have, ADHD collision. We already have this. I know we do. It's a coping tool we use. So let's go ahead and take away the guilt and use it. And I find doing that, I empty the box regularly. I don't know why, but it certainly works. What I typically do in decluttering is just do it in the room on one flat surface. At this point, it's kind of gotten out of hand, so I've got to do the move it out to the other room thing. My first dopamine hit is coming up. A clear spot. Yay, a clear spot. Yay. All right. Tip number 2, use clear or labeled bins or both. This way it's easier to add other items to the correct box or bin, and you don't have to look for 20 minutes through 20 boxes or bins to find that one widget thing that you need for your current project. What's going on? Here's my girl. Come here. Come here. This is my service dog, Raven. Raven, look at the camera. There's my girl. There's my girl. You'll notice here Raven does a quick check on me, make sure everything's cool. All right, Mom's doing good. Passed the see and sniff test. So she's able to go back in the living room and relax. Tip number 3 is a small or medium see-through hamper for your laundry. Has to be an open weave, something you can see into. I use 2, and they're just big enough for 1 load of laundry each. That way, when it's full, I take the load out, I do it, and am able to avoid the dreaded floor robe. And it's 1 load, so I don't forget like I do with multi-loads and let it wash over and over again. And then last tip, remember to take it, and when you put it in the dryer, remember to turn the dryer on. Now these ornaments I'm going to show you, I wanted to make about 50 of them, and I made not even half that. They're handmade out of natural products. And here they are, still out in my studio in February. There they go. Why do I have all this stuff in my studio? Because I can. Tip 4, use a timer, set it at 5, 10, or 15 minutes. Using that timer is what gives you the sense of urgency. So when you've reached that 5, 10, or 15 minutes, stop, unless you're really feeling it. And if you're really feeling it, reset the timer. That's what gives you the sense of urgency and a little bit of a dopamine hit. And I recommend not doing it for more than an hour. You've got other things to do. And that way you can take a break and you can eat or do whatever else it is you need to do without becoming hyper-focused. Yes, coffee mugs. That's my jam as well, apparently. Tip number 5, reward yourself. Nothing gets my dopamine going like retail therapy, and I have 0 problem or guilt bribing myself with a Starbucks mocha cookie crumble frappuccino for completing a high energy task. Whether it's mental or physical, when you do something that you're proud of, give yourself a perk at a reasonable expense. A book you've been looking forward to, a dessert, just something that brings you happiness. And I do not know why I have all these weights in my studio. There's 6 of them there that I carry out. Probably brought them in to work out and then kicked them underneath my desk. Trying to figure out here if I want to keep my recliner in here, and I decide yes. And then probably shouldn't have the trash can hidden behind the chair. And up here, I want you to watch what I carry out in my arms, not the deer, but what's that stuff in my left arm? I'm about to show you. For those of you that don't live in the desert, this is called devil's claw. You see how it kind of doesn't want to focus on it. Anyway, this is a weed. It's a really pretty when it's growing, but when you step on that, it hooks you from every which way. You sit there and you try to kick it off, or a horse does, and it gets freaked out. It's a pain in the butt, but it's really cool looking, and people out of the desert don't even know that it exists. They think it's the coolest thing. Interested in some devil's claw? Let me know. And this is a handmade journal by me. I do those. I love making them in a hand-dyed paper. And these are denim star ornaments I made, not last year, but the year before. It says last year, but they're just hanging out here. Again, I meant to make a bunch, and I only made a few, and then for some reason they're in my studio. Now, here's the final product of the decluttering, although do a little bit more later. I want to get tip number 6 in there, and that's get rid of the guilt from the guilty clutter. And I'm not talking about the cookies in the cabinet. We already have guilt in our minds for things we are told we should be able to do. But I believe all of us have issues with letting things go. I think we convince ourselves we need to keep anything we spent money on, we got as a gift, or we inherited. And a YouTuber named Clutterbug put this really well when she said, I'm letting my stuff bully me when we don't want it, but don't get rid of it. I also watched an interview by the Minimal Mom that spoke to this, and I've linked those below. And Halloween's my jam. You can tell, you see that all over here. Love my stuff. We are almost back at the beginning. There's the dining room table all cleared off. In the doorway, I've hung the bells on the door because my husband has a habit of coming in when I'm in hyperfocus and talks to me and scares me to death. Now he rings the bell like a little doorbell, lets me know he's there. Here's this, my knick-knack curio cabinet. This is storage. It's a wardrobe, actually, that's been changed into a storage, along with the dresser. All the books that were on that shelf have been swapped and are put over here now because my dog's tail kept kicking off the knickknacks, which are over there now. All clean down here. That's always going to be a little cluttered looking because art supplies, scissors, paintbrushes, markers, etc. And I put another curtain across the bottom here because I have storage under each of these tables, but this makes it look so much nicer. And here, my workspace is now clear. Yay! I can work again. There's my puppet, my gratitude vase, my candles that I like to burn. And still, how many journals can somebody have? So much better. Here we are back in my studio with my girl here. This is my Raven again. I introduced you earlier. This is my service dog. And we're here in a clean studio with counter space, table space, and I'm able to get back to work again. I have the inspiration and enthusiasm now that I have a place to actually clean, a clean spot to actually work on. I hope some of the tips and tricks we talked about during the video today are helpful to you. You're able to apply them to your world, and they're able to reduce your anxiety load a little bit. I know I've got a high one most days, and any little bit that gets me feeling good about things, I love that too. So thank you so much for being here, watching my video. I hope it helps you, and I'll see you next time.